And so what we're doing here is to change that perception of Africa and get our young people to really become passionate about the continent, to understand it, because with that passion and understanding, you can really help to bring change on the continent.
Yeah, there's also the Global Business School of Entrepreneurs that aims to do similar exercises, and also the e-schools with the NEPAD initiatives, etc. Exactly. How does this one differ?
Well, this differs in the sense that it's Pan-African in terms of we're bringing people from all over Africa to the same institution, just outside of Johannesburg here in Honeydew. In our inaugural class, we had students represented from 29 different countries, as I mentioned before. So that's definitely, the Pan-African flavor is definitely one distinctive thing. Yeah. The second thing that's distinctive is our curriculum. We have a curriculum that focuses on leadership, entrepreneurship, and African studies. And it's the first of its kind in the world. We also have very unique teaching methods where all our classes are taught in discussion format, like you're in a seminar, whereas most schools in Africa are teaching in a very lecture-based format. Yeah. And we bring different leaders onto campus to teach the students, you know, actual leaders in politics and business, etc., who come onto campus every week and share their experiences with our students.
Yeah. The aim of the qualification would then be that for all these aspiring and budding entrepreneurs to impact their communities where they come from and make a sustainable difference. What do you aim to achieve with it, Dawit?
I'm hoping to go into agriculture. I feel that I'll have the greatest impact there. A large proportion of our population is still agrarian, very subsistence-based. I feel that I can have maximum impact if I went into that field. I'm looking forward. Into moving to that.
What is your perception in terms of African leadership? Where did we lose the plot? And I'm sure we can say colonialism and all sorts of things, but just from a young, intelligent young person.
I think that's exactly the thing. We were lost in the past in a way. Most of our leaders just keep on pointing towards the past. Colonial powers, this, that. I think that's wrong. It's time that we wake up, smell a coffee, I suppose, and realise that the world has actually changed. Yeah. It's time that we get on the globalisation wagon and use our diversity.
Hard globalization, but if you talk about rare skills, even with current leadership, and expecting young people essentially to change their world, I mean, you know, there might be conflict, there might be resistance. How do you empower young people to then try and influence their circumstances?
One thing we're doing here is creating this network, because we believe that there's power in numbers, and so by bringing together young people from all over Africa and creating this network of 6,000 across Africa over the next 50 years, we think that we can really build a powerful force for change that can go into communities, and with the mindset that they're really there to serve their communities, and not just to enrich themselves, but really to make a difference in their communities. Yeah. And this network can really bring about change.
Is it only open to black Africans?
No, it's for all Africans. So we have, you know, students in South Africa, for example, white South Africans. You know, we admit North Africans. Yeah. We would admit an Indian from Kenya. It's you know, it's for all of Africa.
Yeah, yeah. And also there's a sense that the rest of Africa is somewhat advanced in terms of the education system compared to what South Africa has to offer. The Nigerian, maybe the Zimbabwean sort of curricula. You are a step ahead. Do you find that perhaps you have an advantage in terms of the education background you have from Ethiopia compared to?
No, I wouldn't say so. It's what Fred has mentioned. It's more on the lines of lecture-based, so that's a huge disadvantage, because learning has to be about you as opposed to the instructor and the substance. It's about you absorbing it now, isn't it? Yeah. Our education systems don't provide that, so I do not feel us, especially from Ethiopia, are at a greater advantage as opposed to our South African counterparts.
All right. Where's the critical skills shortage? Are we looking at specialized skills in finance, manufacturing, and how do we aim to equip the inaugural group of students?
We think that it's across the board. You know, Africa needs to be pushed forward in all the fields that we're talking about. Agriculture, yes, manufacturing, in civil society, and in government. And, you know, we need policymakers who are well trained, etc. So we're trying to train leaders across the board. But more importantly, we're also trying to get them to think entrepreneurially. Because Africa's not going to come out of poverty unless we build businesses and have this entrepreneurial mindset. And so that's why entrepreneurship is such a key part of our curriculum. They learn how to write business plans. They actually run business on the campus.
Yeah.
So they go, we're talking about creating African versions of Bill Gates and Richard Branson and so on, who are going to create jobs for us.
Yeah. Do you think the 21st century is the African century? Are we stepping up to the plate? Are we taking advantage of that?
I'd like to think so, yeah. I think now we're technically in the driver's seat, aren't we? The world is hungry for our resources. It's just about monitoring our speed now. We go too fast, we crash. We go too slow, we crash as well. So it's about our leaders monitoring and steering this continent to the right direction.
All right, applications are closed now, but where do we go for information?
We're actually looking still for our second class. In our first class we had 1,700 applicants. And this class, we already have over, close to that as well.
Okay.
So application still opens. Interested students can go to africanleadershipacademy.org and download the application. And yes, we certainly invite students from South Africa to apply to this class.
All right, fantastic. I'm so inspired. Thank you so much, Dawit. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Fred, as well. And much success with the Academy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. We're speaking to Fred Swaniker, is founder and Chief Executive Officer of the African Leadership Academy in Johannesburg, and a student from the Academy, Dawit Mekonnen. And he is really a true shining star and an example of what initiatives like these can do. We'll give you the website address. That's africanleadership.org. Is that correct?
African Leadership Academy.
African Leadership Academy. All right, africanleadershipacademy.org, and you can go and download the application. They're still looking for students, and this might just be your lucky break. Let's take a quick ad break. We'll see you on the other side.
Sunrise.